Hello and welcome to this week's The Breakdown to Breakthrough show with me, Tiffany Charters, the founder of this group. Thank you for those who are going to come on live, and thank you also for those who are going to be on the replay. As always, if you have any questions, you can ask them while I'm on live, or you can post them below if you're watching on the replay, and I will come back to you when I can. So this week we are talking about the effects of trauma, and specifically for this group, we're talking about the effects of relationship trauma. So that could be you've broken up with a long-term partner, you've gone through a divorce, and it's really affected your life. And we're talking about how those might manifest in your life currently. And just a little disclaimer, I was actually going to be talking about the 5 stages of grief, and changed my mind this morning. So I've actually been working on what we're actually going to be talking about after what the effects are. And I actually want to focus more on the solution to the problem than the problem. So we're going to skim over what the effects are and then quickly go on to talking about how you can build your resilience, and 3 strategies that you can use right now that cost absolutely nothing, and that you can just start implementing as of today, and just do it bit by bit every single day. Like I say, that this is a journey. It's not a race. It's, you know, steps that you're going to take every single day, and that's what I'm going to be helping you with every single week. And everything that I post about, there's always going to be a solution to the problem. So last week I posted a graphic, but it was an animated graphic, and it was you know, the effects of trauma. I don't think it actually said the effects of trauma, but something to that effect. And it was basically, it had a circle in the middle, and it was a green background, and it had you know, different words like anxiety or procrastination, things like that. And then in the middle, in the circle, was the trauma. And so I want you to go back and have a look at that post after this video, or anytime when you've got some free time. But I'm going to just give a few more effects, or, you know, that you might be experiencing now, or that you might have noticed, and you kind of had this niggling feeling that something was going on, and you didn't actually realize that this is the effect of the trauma that you've been through. So now I just want to clarify. So a lot of people would say or associate the word trauma with a massive negative event in your life. So say, for instance, like you'd been through a car crash, or you'd been sexually abused, or that you know, or you'd lost someone to illness or a car accident or anything like that. And the thing is that trauma manifests itself whether the event is big or it's a series of lots of little events. So whilst, yes, it can be any one of those things, it can also be how you grew up in your childhood, and it really just wasn't a good childhood. And it's not to say that one person or a few people in your life were really bad people. It could have been that, you know, you just maybe weren't completely treated in the way that you should have been. Like maybe you would have seen your friends had a different life and a different upbringing to you. And it could have been that a parent was absent because they had to work, which meant that you didn't have that nurturing and that as much love and as what you needed and what you craved. And that was a trauma to you that affected you in your life, especially going into adulthood. So, and it could have been, you know, someone that you loved, and it wasn't for that, you know, because this, for this purposes of this group, we're talking about relationship trauma. 2 people came together, you and your partner, a husband, wife, you know, whatever, and for whatever reason you drifted apart and the relationship didn't work out. That is a trauma, and it could have not been your fault or their fault. It wasn't some big thing that happened. It could have just been that in your mind, and also in this other person's mind, they had, they went into this thinking, oh, this is going to be for the rest of my life. I'm going to be so happy, etc., etc. But for whatever reason, you were not compatible and it didn't work out, or you just simply drifted apart because one or both of you changed in a way that made it that you weren't compatible anymore. And then that meant you didn't stay together. And unfortunately, these things happen, but that is still a trauma. And a trauma does not have to be this really big life event. So don't ever downplay what you've been through, and because it wasn't this huge event, it would have affected you. And you might not know this necessarily. So this is why I want to talk about it in this, because the very first stage of what I work with my clients is the awareness piece. And this is the awareness piece. So it's knowing what you're going through, being aware of it, accepting it, and then looking how to overcome it. So what are some of these things that might show up in your life that you will then be aware of, that your life has been affected by a trauma that you've been through, or traumas? So it could be physical or emotional. So it could show on the outside, or it could just be an internal thing. So in which case other people might, if it's an internal thing, so being the emotional, you could be a very good actor or actress and be able to hide it. But if it's physical, like a physical illness, where you start to become ill, look ill, feel ill, and that's something you can't hide, these are the two ways that trauma can manifest in your life. So you could have both, or you could have one or the other. So this is just a few things. So if I'm looking down, I'm looking at my list. This is just a few things that you might be experiencing. This is not the whole list. So if you've got any questions, about something that you're going through, please do let me know, and we can talk around it. And I can, say to you, yes, that's probably is going to be a way that the thing that you've been through is manifesting in your life. So things like anxiety, mood swings, having nightmares, having even, like, it's not just nightmares, because there was a time after when I went through my trauma, I began to think of bad things even during the day while I was awake. So I was having conscious bad thoughts of, bad things that could happen in my life. And this, it's kind of linked with an anxiety, with some sort of anxiety that you're going through, which manifests itself as you having a thought that is not positive, and could be that something bad is going to come your way. You just have this feeling and it gives you anxiety, and that is linked to your stress, to your trauma. You may be feeling sad, down, or slightly depressed. You feel tired all the time. You can't get yourself to do anything. You can't stick to anything. You're completely disorganized, and you might have been a really organized person before, and it's completely turned on its head. And this is a manifestation of your stress and your trauma. You're getting ill. So this is now the outward stuff. You're getting these illnesses frequently. You might have like heart palpitations, things like that, headaches. That's one thing that I did when I was going through my enormous stress, because, my last relationship ended up in court. And anyone that's ever been to court will know that it is the most horrible thing that you ever have to go through, because there's a lot of scrutiny on your life. You feel like you have to, what's the word? Like, you have to vouch for who you are. You have to prove that you're a good person. And because somebody else has said some really derogatory things about you. And it's the most horrible thing. And it is a hell of a lot of stress to go through, is to go through that, the court proceedings. To have a fine-tooth comb been going over your life. It's horrible. It's nasty. And basically, as a result of that, I got really bad headaches, really, really bad headaches. I definitely suffered with the mood swings as well. So what can we do? And this is just a small list of a very massive list of things that could be going wrong in your life. But I don't really want to go over that too much, because what I want to do is look forward. And this is what coaching is about. It's about being solution focused. It's about, okay, acknowledging the problem, being aware of it, but now, okay, saying, yes, I've got it. Now, what can I do to overcome it? And there's a couple of things that I want you to know. I want you to know that you can rise above any form of adversity that comes into your life. I'll repeat that to you. You can overcome any form of adversity that comes into your life. And the thing is that whilst I believe that we're all born with resilience, I think that life's seasons, life's lessons, and just life in general means that resilience is stripped away. But you can 100% build it back up again. And there are strategies out there that can help you and that work to help you to get to where you want to go. That desired goal, the job that you want, the business that you want, the life that you want, the happiness that you crave. There are strategies out there that work. And this is what I'm going to be sharing with you in this group. And you can also make yourself and help yourself to get through any tough time that you're going to face. You can teach yourself, you can learn it. And this is what we're going to be doing in this group. So those are 3 things that I really, really want you to know. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to share my screen now, because I have a little graphic that I want to share with you that this is purely about resilience and what that can look like for you and some of the things that you can implement. And then I also want to share with you 3 really simple strategies that you can use and start today that are really going to help you to build your resilience as well. Okay, so let's see if I can find this. Bear with me. Okay, here we go. Right, I'm going to share this with you. So I don't know if you can see my face in this, but never mind if you can't. So these are the dimensions of resilience. Now, you might go on the net and find that there are more than these 5. Some say 4, some say 8. But I really think it's good to start simple and start with just a little bit at a time and work on just, my favorite thing is to do 1 step at a time, 1 foot in front of the other, 1 day at a time. So we're going to talk about the physical dimension of resilience. So this is the nourishing and nurturing of your body. So resilient people will always ensure that they get enough sleep. They don't drink too much. They also limit their caffeine intake. They make time for exercise. They're mindful of their nutrition, so what they're putting in their body. And I speak about this a lot. In fact, it's one of the things that really helped me to get through my tough times was when, because especially after my first relationship breakdown, which is the one that ended in divorce, I became an emotional eater. I put on a hell of a lot of weight. And for the longest time, and anyone that has ever suffered with their weight can attest to, and if this is you, you know this as well, that it is, you don't look good, you don't feel good. Perhaps the clothes that you had before, they don't fit you anymore. And it just makes you feel more miserable. So all you're doing is you're damaging yourself even further. And so to build up the relationship, resilience, is that you take away the damage and you start doing good for yourself. So one of the things that you do need to do is most definitely look at, your eating, that you're getting enough sleep, that you're taking regular breaks. If you're someone that suffers from anxiety, that you do the breathing exercises. I'm not going to go into that now, but you can most certainly have a look on YouTube and you will find, you know, so many videos on teaching you how to use breathing exercises to help you to calm down. So the next step is looking at the mental mind. So you want to be taking control of your thinking and your action. So, you know, like how I said to you earlier, you can make yourself and help yourself to overcome any tough times. And this really does start in the mind. So it's really important that you are working on your mindset daily, that you are training your brain to think in a different way, to react in a different way. So one of the things you could do is you could avoid asking what if, you know, like what if I didn't leave that relationship? What if I had done things better? The thing is that is in the past, and now what we are doing is looking to the future, and really understand that setbacks are a part of life. Because the thing is that every single person goes through one or more forms of hardship, tough times, you know, horrible seasons in their lives. And I don't think there is any one person that can say that they've never faced adversity in their life. So it's really important that you realize that you are not the only one. There are people around you, you know, that may have suffered less through adversity, and lots that have suffered way more. So you are totally not alone. And so don't ever feel like you're being singled out. You should always try to be optimistic, squash negative thoughts, use self-talk that is positive, and start building positive beliefs. You know, change your belief system. And so get it out of your head and down onto paper. Oh, I love journaling. I love, you know, so if you're not doing a journaling, do that. Make sure that you're getting everything that's in your head out, because then that leads to having a clear head, more clarity and things like that. So you want to be working on getting organized and staying focused and making realistic goals and plans. Understand what you can and can't control. And one of the things that in the pointers that I'm going to give you afterwards, after I switch this off, is about you know, focusing on what you can change and not what you can't. So that's such an amazing thing to do, is to understand what you are able to do and what you're not able to do, and what you're able to control and what you're not able to control, and actively working on solving your problem. Having great communication skills. You know, they say that a problem shared is a problem halved. Like, honestly, the worst thing you can do to yourself when trying to build up your resilience is to just keep your feelings to yourself. If you are feeling low, talk to someone. I am here for you. If you want to private message me, like, please do. In any way that I can help you, I will always try to do that. That's what I'm here for. And then find ways to navigate through change, reframe your thinking. And because the thing is that your resilience is going to be challenged. So you've got to be building that mindset, to have a strong mindset, have your convictions, so that you're not going to second guess yourself. So now the next part is the emotional. So you're actively working on your self-awareness and self-management. So resilient people will cultivate their self-awareness. They read cues. So, you know, like taking from your intuition, they know what they need and what they want and what they don't. And a lot of this around the emotional part is really about setting boundaries. It's really important that you set boundaries on what you are happy with and what you're not. And then you don't let yourself or other people cross that line when it's something that you're not happy with. You allow yourself to feel through the emotions. It's really important that you do not try to suppress your emotions, because that has a really negative impact on your mind, on your emotions and stuff like that. So it's really important that you feel your way through it. You let yourself feel that pain, but have things that are going to help you to overcome them, that are going to help you to get stronger. And I tell you what, if you let yourself feel the pain, like for me, definitely, I'm a very emotional person and I cry a lot. But if I were to suppress my tears and not cry and not let myself feel any pain, I'd probably end up having a nervous breakdown. And I'm not saying that that's what would happen to you, but it's really important that you don't just acknowledge, so you have that awareness, but you actually feel your way through it, because that is what helps you on your road to healing, is to feel through it, to go through that valley, that, you know, the death valley or whatever it is, that what they say in biblical terms, the valley of death or something like that. Like, you go through it, you don't try to go around it. You actively work towards feeling positive emotions. So I really love like affirmations and things like that. And if you're not in the space where you feel like you can write them down, you can go to YouTube and you can just put in success affirmations, just put affirmations in there and just listen to them every day. And I tell you what, when you're doing that on a daily basis, it becomes a part of your subconscious, and you really start to feel that. If you feeding yourself with that positivity into your mind, it really becomes a part of you. So it's really important that you do that. And then as part of your journaling routine, you're cultivating an attitude of gratitude. So even if you just write down 2 things that you're grateful for every day, this is going to help you to become more resilient. And also, you're really mindful of the emotional triggers. So what are the things that really bug you or that set you off? Like, work out what they are and then avoid them. Or if it's someone else doing it to you, then you have that conversation and say, please don't do that, because it doesn't help me in my journey. And diffuse any negative emotions through deep abdominal breathing. So again, using those breathing techniques, and actively try to manage your moods. So things that are going to be making you lose your cool. Again, that's probably going to be some sort of a trigger, and it's knowing what those triggers are and trying to avoid them. And now next we're going on to the spiritual. So that's nourishing and nurturing your spirit. Now, whatever that looks like for you, so whether you're religious or you're not, then there's going to be some sort of thing that helps you with your spirituality. So for me, I love to meditate. I'm really big on the law of attraction. I do also believe in God, but for some people they don't. So, you have your faith. Whatever that looks like to you, just make sure that you're practicing on nurturing that. And, whether you have a faith or you don't, meditation is an amazing way to nurture your spirituality. And, doing things like yoga and whatever helps you to find meaning in your life, I'd be working out what that is and having some sort of a practice where you involve that in a daily routine. So you have your menu for self-care habits. So and having a routine, or maybe volunteering or doing good deeds, that could be for you. I mean, that's a really spiritual thing that really feeds you on the inside. Find meaning every day and in difficult events. Use humor, look for fun. One of the things that, when I was going through the hardest time, and my mum was so amazing at this, she would really cheer me up. She would find a way to make me laugh every single time we're together. And I tell you what, that is the best food for your soul, is laughter. So whatever it is for you, whether that be watching a comedy, reading a funny book, or having that person that's there for you that can make you laugh, definitely work on that and try and build that into, if it can't be daily, that is most definitely a weekly thing. Then identify your sweet spots for things that give you feelings of effectiveness, of fulfillment, and find ways to do more of them. And then consciously allocate time and energy to areas of your life that are most important. So in my last video, I spoke about the wheel of life, and I definitely think that's something that you should get for yourself, because that's really going to hone in on what are those areas that are going to be most important to work on right now. And then find out what your core values are and try and incorporate them into your daily behaviors or routine. So definitely look at that. And anyway, I'll post this in the group for you so you can have a look at it. You can download it, you can keep it. And then on the last bit is social. Now, for me, I am an introverted person, but I'm also a social person. So I have an extroverted part to me, but being in a social setting, not a really large social setting. So I'm a bit more, I thrive more on smaller gatherings with a smaller group of people. But that really does feed my soul. So make sure that you are not, and I know this is hard, especially for us. I'm in London, UK, and for those of us in the UK, we're currently on lockdown. And although we might not physically be able to be face to face with people right now, but most definitely try and get on, on your iPhone and do FaceTime, or go on Zoom, or WhatsApp has videos, Messenger has video, like see each other face to face. Don't, and that kind of helps bridge that gap of the fact that we can't physically be together. So on the social aspect is resilient people have strong connections, keep good company. And in the keeping good company, you need, if you're trying to build your resilience, you need to have positive people around you, people that are encouraging, supportive. Negativity is really not going to help you at this time. So if there's someone that's really negative around you all the time, it's really going to bring you down. So you need to try and focus your energy and time around people that are going to build your positivity, support you, encourage you, and that you can feed off them and them off you. And then use your support system, ask for help. If, like I said earlier, if you're feeling down, talk to someone that you can trust, someone that's an amazing role model. For me in business, I have a couple of accountability partners who absolutely are a godsend to me. I couldn't do any of this without them. They've helped me so much. And you don't have to have a business accountability partner. You could also just have an accountability partner who's just there for you. That could be your best friend, and you could say to them, look, there's these things that I'm trying to do, that I'm trying to achieve. Can you hold me accountable? Can you go on this journey with me? So that's that with the dimensions of resilience. And like I said, I'm going to share this in the group for you. So I'm going to stop sharing now. Okay, so on to the 3 strategies. Now, these are not anything hard, anything that you can't do. Every single person can do these, and you could start today. It's not going to cost you anything, and I'll tell you what, it's going to help you so much. So what I want to say is, please start using these now, and if you've got any questions about anything that I've shared on today, please do ask. So strategy number 1 is, and I touched on this a little bit earlier in the graphic, is resilient people know that tough times are a part of life. You know that, you've already been through a tough time, but B, there could be more to come. But you know that for every single person out there, adversity is something that is a part of life. And I tell you what, once you can accept that it's a part of life, that you're not being singled out, I tell you what, moving on to the next step is so much easier. So that is strategy number 1. It's really about the acceptance part. It's about acknowledgement. It's about knowing that you're not the only one, and saying, yes, okay, this has happened to me. It's a part of life. Okay, how can I move forward? So that is strategy number 1. So if you are not there yet, work on this one right now. Number 2, the second strategy is, resilient people are really good at knowing what they should focus their attention on. And what you're focusing your attention on right now is about moving forward, moving away from your adversity, building your resilience, and achieving your life's career, business goals, whatever that may be to you. And you know that the stuff that is not helping you to do that is not worth your time. So it's really about knowing what you need to focus on. So that is the next step. And you accept what you can and can't change. So what is not in your power to change, you just forget about that and leave that and focus on what you can change. Because anything you can change is in your power. And that's definitely going to help you in your life. And it's kind of going back to the acceptance part, is also try to be grateful for things in your life that you do have. So that attitude of gratitude is really, really going to help with these strategies as well. And the third one is, I can't even read my, okay. The third one is ask yourself, anything that you're doing, is it helping you or is it harming you? So, for instance, just as an example, you've opened that bottle of wine and you've had one glass, you're on to the next glass. Is that third glass going to help you? Or is it going to make you feel really crappy tomorrow? Is it going to take away from your clarity? You know, that's one thing, because obviously when you're in stress and trauma, the first thing to do is to go out there and, you know, say, oh, I need a glass of wine or something, or if you're a smoker, I need a cigarette or something like that. But is it going to help you? And it's not to say that you can't have a glass of wine. Of course you can. You know, it's completely up to you. But is having too much going to help you? You know, and it's too much of anything or not doing of something. So too much exercise. If all you're focusing on is exercise, is it helping you, you know, beyond the point where it's done its job? Like, so if you're getting addicted to it, it isn't helping you. Or eating too much food versus eating well, like nourishing your body as opposed to, you know, not nourishing your body. Or focusing on things that are not helping you. So for instance, like watching Netflix all day, is that going to help you to achieve your goals? Or is it just harming you or keeping you mediocre or keeping you exactly where you are? What about going on social media all day long? Is that, you know, or watching the news and things like that, is any of that helping your mind? No. So limit what is not good for you or that could be harming you, or take it out completely, and ask yourself, what is the good thing that I can do that's going to help me to move forward in building my resilience? So that is it for today. Thank you so much for joining me. If you've got any questions, I will pop back in the group a bit later and answer those. And if there's anything personal that you don't want to share in the group, please feel free to send me a DM and I will help you in any way that I can. But that's it for today. Thanks so much. And I hope you've enjoyed this, and I will be posting the graphic that I shared a bit earlier when I get off this today. So enjoy the rest of your day, evening, morning, wherever you are. Bye-bye.